went to St. Joe. It was just a random.
Oh, really? Didn't say that when you told me you would.
No. Yeah.
My husband that grad is your grandparents are Buffalo.
They know.
Okay, there we go.
I spoke to him this afternoon, and I said, so when are you coming to Buffalo?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He said, probably after winter.
Oh, come on.
Because it's a long trip
That's true.
from where they are in Ohio.
Yeah.
Almost.
Jealous.
Oh, is that far? You mean they don't have any idea?
Well, he's from Denver, so he's used to. She should. That's okay. But I'm very blessed. Our grandchildren keep in touch.
It seems like
Oh, I love that position that she's in. She's what?
She made it on
Her
TV.
third. I like the way she's standing there.
So we're out, we were at our meeting the other night.
well, yeah, but they're being on here.
I almost didn't recognize them.
Different one.
You may be seated.
She's wagging her tail.
How are you? Oh, the crown escaped from the Toro. Let's put that back.
Not too much. Yeah, I had a dental appointment this morning for my eyes. And then, which is 2 hours until I go outside and exercise. Somewhere. I was asleep. I was asleep when, you know, and then I read it and I thought it was, and then I realized it was, I figured someone would be writing it. I always but I really wanted to do something.
You won't look at any wisecracks. She said she's on the correct.
I said, great.
As long as you're not smoking. Hopefully they'll be able to make it. She'll be okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's a poodle. Yeah. Yeah, she looks like, yeah, she's a standard poodle.
You just don't cut her like a poodle.
couldn't walk around with a dog with poofies.
With a Maltese and it's very poorly. Do it. And she's legit like Kansas do it.
Right after, yeah.
And he was fine with her. No, and I'm like, you're gonna
It's hot for kids.
Yeah, it's like doing the
Oh, is it? I
doing
don't.
the thing. Do you hear it?
Do you hear?
Welcome to Temple Beth Tzedek. We will begin on page 1 with Ashrei.
No, oh yeah, you're thinking of the weekday one, thinking of the other book. Ashrei Ashrei V'techa Od Yalalucha Selo. Zecher Abdul Chavi. Tovan Ela Kol Racham Aval Kol Maso. Odam Brosa. I'm sure all the verse make them.
Scholar too.
Tzaddik and Abba Kodach. Korovaydan. Veshus. Tehillat Adonai Daber Pi Vivarech Kavosoi Shem Kachol Yalam Va'er V'anachnu Nevarech Ya Me'ata Ve'ad Olam Hallelujah.
We continue on page 12 with Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal V'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah
Amen.
Yalma Divarach Yeruteh Ve'amlich Malchuteh V'chayechan V'yomechan V'chayei Dechol Beit Israel V'agala V'zman Kariv V'imru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbam V'arach Le'olam U'olmei Olmaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudsha V'richu Le'ela min kol be'achata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya l'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen. You may be seated. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We continue with our Kabbalat Shabbat service on page 14.
Yedid nefesh av harachamon mishoch avdach el retzonach yarutz avdach kemo ayal yishtachave el mul hadarach yerav lo yedidutach minofer Tzuf v'chol ta'am hadur na'eh ziv ha'olam נפשי חולת אהבתך, אנא אלנה רפנה לה, בהראות לה נועם זבח, אז תתחזק ותתרפא, והייתה לך שפחת עולם, ותקיימו רחמך, וחוס נא על בן אוהבך, כי זה כמה נחשוף לראות בתפארת עוזך. אנא אלי מחמד ליבי, חושנה ואל תתעלם, יגלנה ופרוס חביב עלי את סוכת שלומך. תאיר ארץ מכבודך, נגילה ונשמחה בך, מהר אהוב כי במועד, וחונני כי מעולם. יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. נריה נריה לצור ישנו, נקדמה פניו בתודה. נריה נריה לצור ישנו, בזמירות נריה לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. ארבעים שנה קוד בדור, ואומרם טועה לבבהם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשבעתי באפי, אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו וגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים, לילה כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה הוד והדר, לפניו עוז ותפארת במקדשו. הבו לאדוני משפחות עמים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo se'u mincha uva'u lechatzrotav lai 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 hishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh chilu mipono v'kol ha'aretz imru v'goyim Adonai moloch afti kontev elebal timot yodin Amim b'meisharim yismichu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz yeram hayam umelo yalo sodai v'chol asher bo lai 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 yos yeraninu kol atzeyar lifnei Adonai ki kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel b'tzedek ve'amim be'emunato lai 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 lai.
Continue quietly on page 17.
Or zaru ala tzadik ul yishrele v'simcha simchu tzadikim b'Adonai v'hodu lezecher kodesho mizmor shiru l'Adonai shir chadash ki niflaot asa hoshia lo yemino uzro akadsho hodia Adonai Yeshuato le'enei hagoyim Megillat tzidkato, Zochar chasto ve'emunato, Leveit Yisrael, Ra'u kol avsei oretz, Et Yeshuat Eloheinu, Hariyol Adonai, Kol ha'oretz, Pitzchu v'ranenu v'zameru, Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor v'kol zimra, Bachatzot rot v'kol shofar, Hariyu lifnei hamelech Adonai, Yiram hayam umelo, Tevel ve'yoshveva, Neharo imcha uchaf, Yachar hariyim yiranenu, Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, Yishpot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim b'meisharim, lai 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 lai.
We continue on page 19.
Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lahar kadosho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
We now rise and turn to page 20.
Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai belehelim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, lai, havul Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavul Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai alamayim, el kavod hirim, Adonai, al mayim rabim, kol Adonai, Bakoach, lai, kol Adonai behodor, kol Adonai shover arazim, Aishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, vayarkidem kemo egel levanon, v'siryon kemo veneremim, lai, kol Adonai chotzev lahavot esh, kol Adonai yachil Adonai midbar kodesh, kol Adonai yecholel ayolot, vayechesof ye'arot, ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד, lai, אדוני למבול יושב וישב, אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, lai,
You may be seated. We continue with L'chadodi on page 21. When we reach the final verse on page 22, we'll rise and face the door to greet the Shabbat bride.
L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'letila, L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem, nesucha sof ma'aseh v'machshavot techila, l'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzei mitocha hafecha rav loch shevet, v'yemek habocha v'hu yachamol alaychem ela, l'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat. Hitna'ari me'afor kumi livishi bigde tifaretecha mi aliyad ben Yishai beit halach mi korva el nafshi ge'ala l'chadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. He it oreri, kiva orech, kome ori, shidaberi, kavod Adonai, alayich nigla, l'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat. Lo tevoshi velo tikolmi, ma tishtochachi, umatemi boch yechesu, aniyei ami venivneta, ir al tila, l'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. v'hoyu l'mshisa shoysoich v'rocha kul mevalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kimsos chatan alakala lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat Yaminu smolati frotzi ve'et Adonai taritzi al yad ish Ben parzi v'nismecha v'nagila lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom hateres bala gam besimcha uvetzala tochem mune am segula boi chala lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabelo.
You may be seated. We continue on page 23.
Tzadikat amar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yiske shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenovon beseva deshenim verananim yiyo lehagir ki ashar Adonai tzori velo avla tabor. Haidotecha nevnu mi'od leveitcha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim.
Mourner's Kaddish is on page 24.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah v'yolma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh dechol beit Israel v'agolo v'zman kariv v'yimru Yehi shmei rabam avorach le'olam ul'ol me'ol maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekutsha Leila min kol be'achata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru.
You may be seated. Many of us, perhaps all of us, have had an experience where a smell triggers an intense memory. Just give me a nod if this has happened to you before. Yeah. Does anyone want to share what their scent, like a memory, a time this has happened to you? You don't have to share the memory if you don't want, but even the scent.
A teacher's perfume.
Oh, a teacher's perfume. Like makes you feel like you were a kid. Wow. Any others? Yeah. Grandma's kogel. Ah, yes, that is a happy place. Any others? For me, it's the smell of salt water. I grew up in Maryland, and the big vacation every summer was Ocean City. We would schlep across the Bay Bridge, which is a very long bridge, and it would feel like such a long drive, but all of a sudden you would just smell the salt water and then look out the window and things looked very flat. You know, we knew that we were almost there, and now when I smell salt water, I feel like I'm approaching the beach. Well, I probably am if I smell salt water, but that beach specifically. So this is science. When you see or hear or touch or taste something, that sensory information heads to the thalamus, I learned, which acts as your brain's relay station. And then that goes to the other parts of the brain, the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory, the amygdala, which helps you process emotions. But I learned that with smells, it's different, that it actually bypasses the thalamus and goes straight to the brain's smell center, known as the olfactory bulb. And that this is connected directly to where memory is made and where emotions are processed, which explains for us why the smell so quickly can trigger that memory. And on top of that, in 2017, scientists discovered that the olfactory bulb itself can hold memory. And so it's not just a conduit to create memory elsewhere in the brain, but it can actually hold some long-term memories of its own. Interesting. So in our Torah portion this week, Toldot, there is a scheme taking place with Rebecca against, or I don't know what against, but privately behind the back of her husband Isaac, who has grown old, he can't see so well, and they have two twins, Esau, the slightly older, and Jacob, the slightly younger. And while the blessing would normally go to the oldest, Rebecca wants Jacob, the slightly younger, to receive the blessing. And so they go through this very choreographed routine to trick Isaac to give the blessing to Jacob. And one element of this plan is that they have to make Jacob hairy because Esau is the hairy one and Jacob is the smooth one. And so what happens is Rebecca puts Jacob in Esau's clothing. Esau is out in the field doing some hunting to prepare something nice for his father to eat. And in addition, Rebecca takes the skins of goats, which are fuzzy, furry in some kind of way, and places them on the smooth areas that the clothing doesn't cover, like Jacob's neck. And they get everything ready. Jacob goes to Isaac with this food that Rebecca had made, and he serves him some wine. Then his father Isaac said, "Come close and kiss me, my son." And he went up and kissed him. And it says, he smelled his clothes and blessed him, saying, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of the fields that God has blessed." Well, our commentators over the generations get very excited, trying to figure out what exactly Isaac smelled that inspired him to bless Jacob. And in these commentaries, we see the link between smell and memory and emotion. So I will share some of these with you. The Chizkuni, a medieval commentator, says that he smelled like Esau, which makes sense. And this is what assures Isaac that it is in Esau, and so he can give the blessing. Because this whole time, Isaac is like, kind of, feels like Esau, sounds like Jacob, he's not sure, but it's the scent that says, "Ah, this must be my son." Radak, another medieval commentator, says that since Esau was out in the field hunting, and back then they didn't have a closet full of clothes, they had maybe 2, maybe 3 sets of clothing max, that he was out there in his hunting clothes, and his good clothes, right, his shul clothes, were, in the tent, and that you keep your good clothes stored in some kind of scented box, maybe with a sachet or something like that. And so he says that the scent that he smelled that made him want to give the blessing was a really beautiful scent that you would reserve for your finest clothing. Rashi calls on the memory even more. He says, "There is no more offensive smell than the scent of washed goat skins," which sounds about right to me. I haven't smelled one, but that just sounds about right to me. And so he draws further back. He says that when it says the smell of my son is like the smell of the fields, that this is the smell of the Garden of Eden. That actually Adam gave these garments to Nimrod, and that they were passed down over the generations and ended up with Esau. And so the memory brings him way back to the very start of humanity. And we sort of imagine the Garden of Eden as smelling really wonderful because it's just full of all of these trees and plants. But the future has a smell too. And there is Midrash that says that when Isaac smells Jacob, he smells the scent of the incense that in the future will be offered at the temple, like centuries later, right? But if you're the rabbis and you're not that concerned with chronology, then this is a cool idea, that he can smell the memory of the future that hasn't even happened yet, and all the incense that is part of the worship. And so the emotion that Isaac is connecting to is one of devotion to God in this moment, and so he offers the blessing. So I think we can, without knowing exactly what he smelled, appreciate the creativity of these rabbis and their different interpretations. And in each of these, there is a memory and a meaning that is attached to the scent. So usually this is an automatic response. The scent just straight to the brain. It happens so fast. And Rashi, I appreciate his candor, tells us the skin smelled terrible on their own. And what I love about this is that it reminds us that sometimes we need to consciously kind of override the immediate sensation that we're getting in order to appreciate the greater meaning that might be behind something that we're experiencing, that we have to kind of tell ourselves, okay, I'm experiencing this thing. It's not super appealing or comfortable, but maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe there's something better that can come. And that offers us a chance to connect to the past and to find hope for the future. With the holidays coming, Thanksgiving next week, and Hanukkah not far behind, we are about to be bombarded by a lot of different scents. Even if you go to the stores now, it's like one aisle is pine, another aisle is cinnamon. Right? It already has started. And a lot of food scents, turkey and stuffing, and then latkes soon after that. And also people smells, the smell of a relative's house, right? Every house has a smell. Or of a grandchild's clean hair, fresh out of the bath, or your uncle's sweater. So what I hope is that during the holidays that are coming, that we can pause and with gratitude, allow the memories to flow and just enjoy the opportunities for closeness that we receive. I hope that we will make new memories linked with scent that remind us of our past joy and our hope for the future. Shabbat Shalom. We continue now on page 24 with the Kaddish that we recite in memory of the victims of the Holocaust, victims of violence and terror around the world, and those who have no one to recite Kaddish for them. Page 24, please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divra kiryote v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mivarach leolam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudashah b'rechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata da amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We remain standing and turn to page 28 for Baruch Hu.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה ובני ישראל לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלינו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גואל ישראל. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
We rise for Vishamru, page 34.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבו, ילמוד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגולה ובזמן הקריב יאמרו. יהי שמי רבו מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשו לעילם ינקה ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו.
Continue individually with the silent Amidah beginning on page 35A or B. We continue on the top of page 47.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא Elohim elasot.
You may be seated.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Konei Shamayim va'aretz Magen Avot b'devaro Mechaye metim b'mamaro Ha'el HaKadosh en kamohu Hameniach le'amo B'yom Shabbat kodsho Kivam ratza lehaniach lahem Kivam ratza lehaniach lahem Lefonav navor be'yira v'fachad ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיר מעין הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת מבורך שביעי, ומניח בקדושו, לימדו שני עונג, זכר למעשה וראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך, ותן חלקנו בתורתך, סבנו מטובך, ושמחנו בישועתך, וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת. והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו בישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. יתגדל ויקדש שם רבו, וילמד ברוך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכנו ויומכנו וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגולה ובזמן קריב אמרו. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשו. לעילה מנקבחתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו. תתקבל צלותנו ואותון דכל ישראל, קדם אבוהון דבשמי ואמרו. יהי שלום רבו מן שמיה, לחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו. עושה שלום במרומו והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו.
We rise for Kiddush on page 49.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגופן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצוונו בשבת קודשו, באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. קיוונו ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
We continue on page 51 with Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה, שלא עשינו כגויה, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Tonight we remember the following loved ones of our congregation: Fanny Abramson, Jerome Adel, Ellis Ali Adele, Muttel Max Bernhard, Morris Bovich, Helen Boxer, Bertha Broder, Esther Brothman, Meyer Cantor, Gertrude Bronstein Carroll, Fanny Chodorow, Vladimir Dmitriev, Gail Paul Eisen, Sandra Fink, Simon Friedland, Harold Geller, Sarah Gertzman, Ruth Gewertz, Myron Mike Grashow, Mildred Grelick, Minnie Hesch, Ben Hoffman, Myra Horowitz, Jacob Horowitz, Jean Hurwitz, Marvin Eisenberg, Saul Eisenberg, Nathan Jacobs, Shirley Kaplan, Harry Kirchner, Rose Klein, Rivka Razel Kam, Ruth Kam, Helen Krantz, Morris Laufer, Alexander Levy, Erwin Levine, Abraham Levine, Nathan Lukowitz, Ellis Lickblau, Nathan Marcus, Samuel Marks, Stephen Meyer, Ruben Pastor, Lawrence Peta, Ed Pikel, Max Podolsky, Edith Petoskey, Irene Ribakov, Robert Rosenblith, Doris Schill, Harry Schmidt, Aaron William Schwartz, Joan Seaman, Benjamin Selling, Sarah Singer, Rita Sirkin, Isidore Snyderman, Jack Tapperman, Sarah Tier, Celia Usharenko, Maurice Wagner, William Wallach, Rita Weiss, Gertrude Wertheimer, Stephen Zappia, Marion Zellman. And I invite you to rise to share the name of who you're remembering tonight if you'd like your relationship with them.
Nathan Lukowitz, my dad.
Gail Eisen, she was our mother.
Excuse me, my uncle, Ken Selling.
My aunt and uncle, Maury Rose Swallen, and friend's father, Myron Gresham.
Mourners and all observing yurtzeit are invited to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, page 52. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yama Dibra Kirte, V'yamlich Machute, V'chayechon, Uvyomechon, Uv'chaye Jechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, V'zman Kariv, V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah, Mivarach, Leolam, Ulamei Almaya, Yivarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yithalal, Shemei Dekudasha, Brichu, Le'ela, Binkol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tush B'chata, V'nechemata, Na'amiran, Be'alma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'chaim Alinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Alinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. May their memories be a blessing. You may be seated. I'd like to call forward our president, Linda Boxer, with announcements.
Thanksgiving, I meant to. I guess, but. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to Rabbi Rich and Cantor Spindler for inspirational services this evening. Tomorrow morning, we begin again at 9:30 in the morning, and then Mariv and Havdalah will begin at 5:35. The days grow shorter. The Zoom link will open a few minutes before then. Rabbi Rich's class, Lunchtime Torah Express, is 12 noon. Come join us. It's on Zoom, so you can come from anywhere. Sunday afternoon from 1 to 2:30, taking it day by day, a discussion about the impact of the war. For anyone who wishes to come, whether you have loved ones in Israel or you're just feeling the impact here, it will be facilitated in partnership with Jewish Family Services and, of course, led by Rabbi Rich. The Bills game isn't until 4:30. So you have time to come and de-stress and then go root for the Bills. We have a request for an in-person evening minyan, which begins at 6 p.m. Please note that this Wednesday, there will not be the healing service, but we will have minyan, and there is in-person minyan Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Our website is being kept up to date with lots of information about what's happening in Israel. It's on the, you have to go fishing for it a little bit, but we'll make that more prominent. On December the 3rd, from 10 to 12 noon, Women's Network Hanukkah program, Jewish trivia. December 8th, Hanukkah dinner, make your reservations. Dinner is at 6 that evening, and services will be at approximately 7:15, so please make note of that. December 10th, Outstretched Arms Hanukkah celebration, begins at 10:30 and runs until about noon. Come, volunteers are very welcome. And then the challah prints will be downtown at Beth Zion that afternoon at 2:30? 2 to 4? Yeah. Yeah. Come learn how to braid fancy challah. Please note that JFS, in partnership with us, is offering free counseling for anyone who's terribly stressed in this difficult time. We could use some helpers on Tuesday afternoon to serve a light supper to Torah Talk participants. Is it this week? Not this week, next week. Okay. Thanksgiving is changing the schedule. Our youth ed committee is collecting addresses of college students so they can receive a gift package, either in time for finals or Hanukkah. Send the snail mail addresses to Myra Werbo. Gift Shop is planning a Hanukkah sale. Come and shop. Save your dashes tapes. Lots more planned in the future. All of these activities can be found in the flyer, on the website, and in the shofar. Happy Thanksgiving. Shabbat Shalom.
We conclude with the Don Olam on page 1.
Adon olam Hashem alach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'eiten aso v'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra v'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh Vehu yiyeh b'tifara, vehu yiyeh b'tifara, vehu echad v'yein sheni laham shilo, lehachbiro b'li reshit b'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, vehu eli v'chai goali v'tzur chevli, Be'et Zara, vehu nisi umanos li, minot kosi b'yom mekra, minot kosi b'yom mekra, be'yodo afki druchi be'et ishan, ve'ya'ira ve'imruchi geviyati, Adonai li v'lo ira, Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat Shalom.
It's very convenient. But I would not have bought it on my own volition. Very nice. Make sure she opens it.
I don't know. Some people say they can hear fine, some people say it's not.
First time I heard you say it, I didn't think over it was when you're sitting there. So it sounds like it's intermittent.
Yeah, intermittent.
Yeah, Mom, why isn't
You can turn it off and then turn it right back on.
Gabriel, Jason, sorry.
Jonathan was here.
Sarah's Russ. Did you see the text?
At least once here.
Yes.
I guess they figured that they would need
Sports, Formula One racing.
What's the name of the game that you run?
But the spelling is really tough. But I recorded it.
How are you? This must be a treat, huh, to have your daughters. And I realized why you were lawyers because you were in the video. The foundation was right. You were in it too, actually. Or was that a different one? No, that's right. Yes. You were. It was very powerful.
I lost it somewhere.
Wow.
Now it's not my fault. So it's great to meet your daughters. Ezra Rich. Nice to meet you. I had the privilege of traveling to Israel last fall with your dad. Oh, okay.